Good afternoon, folks. One of the things that we like to do in these virtual workshops is get you to be able to identify structural forcing. And in this case, we're going to take you for a walk downstream in Spawn Creek, which is a system in Utah, and see if you can see examples of structural forcing. So my name is Joe Wheaton. I'm from Utah State University. And there's two parts to this little virtual field trip. One of the parts is a guided, narrated tour where you can hear me essentially pointing out everything when we do this field trip together in the field that I point out to participants as we take a hike up Spawn Creek and then for some little detours. And so that points out a lot of things that maybe you aren't accustomed to observing. This one is different. This one is basically a 22-minute walk, and it's my eyes, but has no narration. So just basically holding a GoPro and encouraging you to see what you can see. So you can play, pause, and see. So if you're doing this for credit, or if you're just doing this to learn, what I'd encourage you to look for is examples of structural forcing from beaver dams. Things like ponding behind the dam, overflow onto adjacent floodplains, overflow onto exposed channel features that would otherwise be dry. Those could be bars, inset vegetated surfaces, banks, etc. And looking for tunnels, evidence that beaver are harvesting of trees, maybe skid trails where they drag those down to the water. And then you can maybe start a little tally and see how many can you count primary dams, so maybe the big ones that get out onto those floodplains, maybe have a lodge versus secondary dams, and maybe count the lodges you see. And as an added bonus, if you see any beaver. So this little tour here is in Spawn Creek. We're basically going to start upstream here and come down. This is the opposite to the narrated version, and this is exactly how we do this field trip when we go in the field. We start out at the trailhead, and we take people up and we show them a whole bunch of things, and then we set them free to make their own observations on the way back down. So I just want to show you real quick a little broader context for where this is. So this is in Utah. So we'll zoom in here. So we're in the Bear River Range. And so this is, if I zoom out a little, this is coming up Logan Canyon. We got Bear Lake over here. There's this Logan where Utah State University is. So you drive up the canyon onto Forest Service land, come up Temple Fork here, and there's this little parking area. And so what we'll be doing is basically starting you up here where my red arrow is, the top, and we're just taking a walk on down all the way back to the trailhead. And as I say, something hard for a windbag like me, I keep my mouth entirely shut. But you will see the things basically that I'm seeing as I'm walking down through that. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that there are examples of structural forcing by beaver dams everywhere as you walk through this. There's also a little KMZ and also that Google map that I showed you. So if you want to zoom in and take a look at what you might be seeing, try and figure out where you are as we're walking down, then you can. So we'll hand it over to 21 minutes. Have fun.